I remember someone saying that, giving an example of somebody having an issue in the brain, and was given a pill with an active ingredient. And the analogy was that it was a bit like opening up the hood of your car, and you know there is an issue, so you pour motor oil all over the engine, and you hope that some of it sticks in the right places. Precision medicine or personalized treatment is healthcare solutions targeted at individuals, or in some cases smaller groups, rather than population-based.
Welcome to the Sustainable Healthcare Podcast, a podcast where we talk about sustainability in pharma, medtech, and healthcare services with tips and tricks on how you can get there. And today we have Lasse in the studio, one of our senior consultants, where he will take us through the 101 on precision medicine and how that can help with sustainability in the healthcare system. Hi Lasse, welcome back to the Sustainable Healthcare Podcast.
Thank you.
You are a senior consultant with us here at the Green Innovation Group, and we're very lucky to have you working on our projects to make the healthcare sector more sustainable. And I'm quite excited about today's topic. It's a bit futuristic, but in a not so far distant future. We're going to talk about precision medicine and personalized treatment, and what are some of the sustainability potentials in this area. It's going to be a 101 introduction to get people started. So, what is personalized treatment or precision medicine?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. We use these two terms interchangeably. At this point, the concept has not been, there's not a consensus in the global society around which word to use, so we use both words interchangeably. Precision medicine or personalized treatment is healthcare solutions targeted at individuals, or in some cases smaller groups, rather than population-based.
That seems very nifty. Get something that's just for me, rather than for everybody. What's the difference between that and the way we are developing medicine today?
So you can describe personalized treatments as operating by a core tenet, which is we are seeking the minimum intervention necessary to address a health concern. Yeah. And I know that many companies and hospitals operate by this already, but it is especially important in this case because it signifies that we want to make sure that we give you the medicine, the active ingredient, or the treatment that you specifically need, but no more than that. We just need the minimum effective dose for you to get better. So it's a way of kind of making the window more narrow and to say, instead of we know what's good for the majority of people in this setting, so we're going to give you that dosage, we try to figure out what is it exactly for you. What is going to do the trick here? What is going to make you better? So we take into account characteristics like genetics, your background, environment, your lifestyle, and maybe your medical history as well. So it's taking into account some data points that allow the treatment to be tailored to your specific needs and context.
Yeah, and it goes into this that I think for laymen and people without long specialized degrees, we usually think of medicine as very directly causal. I eat this pill, therefore this happens. From A to B, all the time, always, for everybody. And the reality is really quite different. A lot of the treatment of course the treatment is safe and efficient to a large degree, otherwise it wouldn't have come through FDA and EMA, so it should be more efficient than the current other solutions. But still within this we see that a lot of medicine, a lot of treatments will have pretty large parts of the population where it doesn't have an effect or has a reduced effect or...
Yeah, and this could actually be a natural development just coming from the aging society and in the increasing complexity that is needed in our healthcare system, coming from an aging population which will increasingly have more complex illnesses and more comorbidities because their health situation will be more specifically demanding. In those cases, to meet their needs, we need more precise treatments. So personalized treatments, they are coming. To some extent, but we can utilize that lever and we can utilize that momentum and actually really leverage it towards increasing the sustainability of the healthcare of the future, which is, I think, really interesting.
Why is that important, or what is the potential in terms of sustainability?
So I don't exactly remember which medicine was given as the example, but I remember someone saying that giving an example of somebody having an issue in the brain, and was given a pill with an active ingredient. And the analogy was that it was a bit like opening up the hood of your car, and there is an issue, so you pour motor oil all over the engine, and you hope that some of it sticks in the right places, which it maybe will, but it's not. It's a relatively crude form of intervention that we have to take in a pill, and then hopefully a part of the active ingredient will end up in the right places. So what we're looking to do here is with more precise medicine and more precise treatments, we're looking to minimize the active ingredients that we put into the system, and this into the human body. And this will benefit, of course, the patient, which only gets the precise ingredients needed and the precise medicine needed. It will benefit the environment because a lot of the medicines that we take in and a lot of the products that we use in the healthcare system are then, passed on into the environment and into different waste treatment systems, which are quite costly. And of course, it will benefit all the corporations that are developing the solutions, as well as the hospitals administering the treatment, in that they will have less of a resource burden to deliver this treatment. So we'll have a resource saving all over the palette, let's say, and we will have an increased quality of treatment as well for the individual.
And will it be a resource saving? Because intuitively you could also think that if we have to develop treatments for each individual, I mean, it costs plus $1 billion to develop an average drug. I mean, we can't do that for everybody. So how do we actually get this precision without having to do a large clinical study just for Lasse, which would also be too time consuming and so on.
Of course. Yeah, so it is, as you say, it rightly points out, it takes a toll on the development aspect of the treatments. And in this case, we need a lot more flexibility, and we need to utilize the complexity of data that we have available to make this to develop these treatments. So in other words, instead of going through the full development process that you would do now with clinical trials and all the different steps and approval gates that there are, let's find out which part of that drug development needs to go through population level trials, of course, and which part of that can we specify specific elements of a single treatment that are relevant only to people with this and this genetic, or this and this lifestyle, or this and this background. So we try to make a combination of large-scale population-wide clinical trials that kind of secure the basis and most of all make sure that we don't do anything wrong here. And then we try to tailor it, combine it with specialized information and personalized data on the individuals.
This sounds really complex and also needing a lot of data. I mean, it's a broad question, but in rough terms, where are we today with precision medicine? Yes,
I mean, as we are relatively early stage, I would say, in this field. So one of the images that come to mind when we talk about the future of personalized treatments is this idea that the pharmacies, as we know them today, could actually go back to what was their prerogative back in the days. You have these images of pharmacists rolling pills, literally creating them in the pharmacy and then handing them out to people. And we don't see this today because they all have access to a global pool of medical products, right? But we could actually see down the line, I mean, I'm not gonna promise that it's here in 10 or 20 years, but to see a type of 3D printing on the spot, production on demand for certain kinds of medicines and treatments, which I think would be really interesting. But we are, I think, decades away from that ever even being realistic. What we see happening, though, is that we are in the early stage of a process that is happening in the way that, of course, for all of this to become reality, we need a lot of data and we need to compartmentalize and analyze that data in novel ways. And that data amount is already ramping up to quite a big extent. So what we know is that the growth of data generation in the healthcare system right now, as estimated by McKinsey Company, is around 48% per year. So that is an extremely high growth rate of data generated in the healthcare system, which in other words means that 90+% of the data that is available in this entire system was generated just in the last 18 months. So we can predict that if this growth rate continues, we will have extreme amounts of data available for big data analysts and algorithms to sort through and to support the development of these precision production methods and to support the development of precision medicine.
Amazing. So to sum it up, what is precision medicine?
Precision medicine is the addressing of an individual's health issue rather than a population scale health issue.
And what is the sustainability potential in this?
The great potential for sustainability in this field is that by reducing the products and the medicines produced and offered, and by tailoring the treatment to specific individuals or to small groups, we eliminate a lot of the waste, we eliminate a lot of the production process, and we make sure that we only offer the minimum necessary intervention in a certain case. So we save resources in production, and we tailor the treatment to the individual, and we also save the environment for a lot of the wasted medicines that might otherwise accrue in the system.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this intro, Lasse, for being back on the podcast. Always a pleasure.
Good to be here.
Thanks for listening to the episode. It was always a pleasure to talk with Lasse. One of the images that really stuck with me was the one where treatment was viewed as opening the hood of a car and just pouring motor oil all over the place and hoping something sticks, rather than going in and saying, okay, we have a problem here and then we need to fix that specific problem. And I think that holds a very exciting future for better treatment through precision medicine for all of us.